Join us for an annual friends trip to Lake of the Woods on Prairie Sportsman.
Tommy, I'm 83, trapped in the body of a 43-year-old.
I got news for you. I knew you when you were 43 and you looked 83. Yeah.
Plus, track the menace of spiny water fleas. I'm Brett Amundsen, and it's time for a brand new episode of Prairie Sportsman.
Funding for Prairie Sportsman is provided by the Minnesota Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund, as recommended by the Legislative Citizen Commission on Minnesota Resources. Mark and Margaret Yackel-Julien on behalf of Shalom Hill Farm, a retreat and conference center in a prairie setting near Windham, Minnesota, on the web at shalomhillfarm.org. And by West Central Initiative and Western Minnesota Prairie Waters. And the members of Pioneer PBS.
Fishing traditions come in many forms, from opening day destinations, family vacations, and more. Today, we're going to meet a group of friends who started going fishing together when they were co-workers, but they have continued the tradition long after they retired.
Do you have more fun fishing on these trips or giving these guys a hard time?
That's a good question.
I think that's very well put.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Who put you up to that?
Nobody needed to.
In the 1980s, a handful of employees from Minnesota-based 3M that shared a love of the outdoors started going on fishing trips. Those adventures have created a colorful tradition that continues to this day. In 2023, they traveled to Arneson's Rocky Point at Lake of the Woods.
Yeah, we're the walleye whackers.
Yeah. Yeah, where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Well, the first year, I believe, was 1987.
Not 1989, 1988, something like that, I started coming.
Best as I can tell, I came in 86.
I think it was 1988 that it started. And we stayed in tents, and we woke up in the morning and there was snow covering the tents.
They pitched their tents on some bear guts or something, or fish guts, because people cleaned their fish there. We survived and got through that first year. And
That's where we had a little football game, and we didn't have a football, so we used a lighter fluid can. Jansen, I think he was a quarterback, so he wasn't good at catching, and it hit him in the mouth and he had blood all over his face.
Well, one thing about this group, we can dish it out, but we can all take it too. So it's all in fun, that's for sure. And I want to say, the core group, I think, started in maybe
Another year?
Because my first ER trip, which is some of the core group, was in 74. So next year would be 50 for me.
Wow.
All right, Danny, how's it feel?
Oh, it feels pretty good.
Yeah? Dan's gonna get the net behind you here.
Probably gonna sneak in between you guys.
That's pretty good.
I think this is a good fish, Denny.
Yeah, it feels good.
I saw your bottom bouncer for a second.
There it is, right there.
That's a good fish.
Oh yeah.
That's a good fish. Nice.
Nice job.
Very nice.
We like it.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Heck
very
yeah.
nice. That's a good one.
25 maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're kind of got some good bellies on them too.
Well, they're like the woods fish, Brett. They all got good bellies on them.
That was the first fish I've caught with this rod that Ron Jansen made for me.
He's made a lot of rods, and I think mine's a St. Croix blank, but I don't have a snakeskin wrap on mine.
He makes a nice rod.
I would say that all of the walleyes caught on the, or most of the walleyes caught on the trip this time would be on Jansen's rods, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
2005, maybe I went to a class, and a lot of them are unique because I use snakeskin for a lot of the design, and I turn my own handles and foregrips, and
you put names.
And get engraved, and it's frankly kind of paid for itself. I mean, I don't make a lot of money.
Well, you charge a lot.
Yeah.
With this group, sitting back and listening to the stories is just as much fun as the fishing.
We have the same stories every year, and we laugh just as hard every time. And we just have a good time. It's been great coming back here every year.
Is it the same stories every year? Do you enjoy them more and more because you start forgetting them?
We do now. We do now. Yeah. Yeah.
That's new. Did I tell that story before?
While spending a lot of the time fishing has remained a constant over the years, it still takes a back seat to the fun these guys like to have.
Is we used to have a test called the spark plug test to see who was most manly. Well, I've got this lawnmower with 3 plugs. I've got this riding mower with 4 plugs. I've got this snowblower. And, it went around the table. And nowadays, one of this group last night mentioned the newest test should be a pill count. see who has the most pills in the group.
We're all getting to the age where who knows how much longer it'll last, but we're still having fun.
This is really getting to be distressing.
We're all getting older. I'm 73, and there's a few boys around here that are 10 years older than me.
What are you looking at me?
Well, I just kind of glanced over, but everything comes to an end. But I would do this as long as I can. There you go.
Tommy, I'm 83, trapped in the body of a 43-year-old.
Yep. I got news for you. I knew you when you were 43 and you looked 83. Yeah.
We've done a lot of great things over the years, a lot of fun things. My guy, we went a lot of places. Saw a lot of people make fools of ourselves a lot of different places. And we caught a lot of fish over the years, frankly.
Looks like Jack's got one.
First year I caught the biggest fish, which everybody's happy.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're all happy. Yeah. We're happy.
Happy as hell for me.
First guy comes in and gets some of these fish.
Second year, not quite as happy when I caught the biggest fish. Third year, they took a vote of us coming back. But they all voted to come back. It's been great. It's a great bunch of guys.
While looking back on the memories of trips of the past in the lodge as fun, we were able to go out on the water and create some new ones as well.
Say one of us is going to get bit. We just pulled through. That's a good eater. Nice. You guys we can have our fish fry tomorrow.
There's a fish down there. Fish right there, Denny. We were trolling spinners with bottom bouncers, and I was showing Denny how the live scope worked when I spotted a nice fish. Decent fish. Here it comes.
fish.
Oh, yep.
Wrapped in the live scope cable. Thank you, Dan. Nice save. That's a beauty right there. 30-inch walleye. Fins are a little bit beat up. Heck yeah.
We weren't the only ones having success, and when you're dealing with this group, you know there's going to be some shenanigans.
It was good. I was leading in the clubhouse until they took Jansen out fishing this afternoon. That was my first mistake.
You took me out as my boat.
Oh, I got another one. All right, so we crank it up. Nice fish, really a nice fish.
27 and a half.
20, it's 27. I don't know where the half came from, Ron. Anyway, it's the winner so far. All right, so Jansen throws his plug back in the lake. All right?
Yeah, we unhooked the...
We unhook the fish. He lets the fish go. He throws it back in the lake. And we sit down. He says, I got another one.
Name one.
I don't know. We don't know. So he cranks it in. We take the fish out of the lake. It's 27. So now we're arguing. No.
Where were you? He hooked it back on his line. And
No, literally. We threw it back in the lake. So now we're arguing about, did he catch 227 fish or did he catch the same fish twice? He did have two 27-inch fish, walleyes.
That's correct.
On the line.
You netted two 27-inch.
I netted two 27-inch walleyes.
There you go.
And you're the leader in the clubhouse. What can I say?
Yeah.
Do you have pictures of the two? Did he let you take pictures?
We didn't take a picture of the 27. That's one thing about Jansen on this trip.
Yeah.
Okay. I catch a 26.5 fish the other day. Well, let's take a picture. Boom. Can't leave it out of the boat that long. It's going to die. You know.
I'm more concerned about the fish than the picture.
Right.
While this list may show their real names, it's not what they're usually called on the strip.
I have no idea where my name came from. You guys gave it to me.
Jansen.
What's your nickname?
Hognuts.
Speak up, sweetie. What was that?
Speak up, please.
Hognuts.
Oh, okay.
They couldn't pronounce my name, so they ended up with Hognuts. But I got back at him.
Because he's crazy.
No.
Danny, you ought to tell the dump story. How we nicknamed you Dumpy.
Oh yeah, everybody had their own nickname. And Ron, that's a good one. Ron happened to be nicknamed Roadkill. As he was just having a few cocktails, fell off the dock, landed in the boat, and his feet and hands were up like this. He looked a little like Roadkill. So that's how that one stuck.
That is not the way it happened.
It's exactly how it happened.
First of all, I thought somebody was saying,
How would you know?
Ron, are you okay? All I hear is Dave Johnson saying, looks like roadkill.
But we call Danny Dumpy. And why is that, Danny?
Well, I got the nickname Dumpy because Don Peterson and I went every night to the dump. It started out that we went looking for trailer hitch balls. And we found plenty of them, but we couldn't get them off. So
I got a blur. I am the youngest of this whole group. And they were cordial enough to ask me 4 years ago to come along. And I think the reason is because they keep falling down and I got to pick them up. I mean,
that's true.
Honest to God's truth. If they're not falling in the water, they're falling on the floor. Granted, I'm 64 and they're getting heavier too. So they're a great bunch of guys to fish with. They a lot of knowledge on fishing. They don't catch a lot of fish sometimes, but they got a hell of a lot of knowledge.
Over the years, a few of the original members have dropped out of the annual trip. Despite that, this tradition has continued. You could say it's because of the camaraderie, the good-natured jokes and nicknames, and of course, the fishing. But as the group gets older, what does the future hold for the Walleye Whackers?
Well, I don't know. It gets harder for all of us to get in the boat, out of the boat, and All good things come to an end, and we'll see.
Take good memories away.
Yeah, that's right. We might quit while we're ahead.
I think you've heard a little bit too talk about we're probably aging out a little bit. I've told people I know I'm in the fourth quarter, but I'm betting on triple overtime. And
You know, I can't imagine that in this whole discussion we've had here,
yeah, that I had
that
anything
no one
to say.
said that the location of the trip always had to be within 8 miles of a casino.
Yeah. Those sometimes aren't the best memories. The best memories are right here with the fishing.
I know it's coming to an end one of these years. I would trust my life with any one of them. That's how I think close we've gotten. Well, maybe not Ron.
I love these guys. And I trust them with my car. I trust them with my life.
They're tiny, highly carnivorous, predatory zooplankton. They are, a really devastating invasive species, and not that many people know about them. Spiny water fleas are an invasive zooplankton that have been in Minnesota since at least the 1990s. In terms of our inland lakes, it is from Europe and Eurasia. It came in on the Great Lakes shipping industry through the channels and got to our harbor in Lake Superior and has spread inland since. And they're really disruptive to aquatic food webs because they eat a lot of the native zooplankton that are really important for baby perch and walleye. But then on the other hand, spiny water fleas are almost basically inedible for other small fish because they have a long barbed tail spine. So it's high energetic cost for a fish to eat that, even if they can fit it into their mouth. One study looked at how zebra mussels and spiny water flea were affecting yellow perch and walleye in what we know as Minnesota's 9 large walleye lakes. Mille Lacs, Kabetogama, Rainy, the big popular walleye lakes. And they looked at the food webs of those lakes, and they also had 35 years of Minnesota DNR fall seining surveys. What they found was that in lakes that had zebra mussels and spiny water flea, walleye growth was 25% smaller going into their first winter. So that's because these baby fish in their first year, they are mostly eating zooplankton, and they can't eat spiny water fleas. The family of native plankton that eats a lot of phytoplankton they're called Daphnia. And those are really important parts of a lot of our upper Midwest aquatic food webs because they are grazers. They are eating all the algae that keeps our lake in balance and slows down those algae blooms. I do really appreciate being out on a lake with a healthy ecosystem and seeing the fish that are present and knowing that spiny water fleas dramatically destabilize that and can lead to major algae blooms is just kind of scary. Spiny water flea only actually lives one season, but they form these resting eggs that they drop down into the sediment when the water starts to get cold and we're going into winter. And those eggs will typically hatch out the next spring or summer, or if conditions are unfavorable, they'll just stay in the sediment up to 3 to 5 years. And they'll hatch out when conditions are good. They have explosive reproductive rates, so we're talking about exponential growth. So very high impact species. The even scarier thing is that there are no control options at this point, and not even really anything in the research pipeline. So the only thing we can do is prevent further spread and try to get a better handle on where they currently are. We have a protocol that's available on our website that anybody can download. It teaches people how to do the sampling. This is their basic setup. If you're interested in doing spiny water flea surveillance monitoring, the most important thing and the most specialized tool is this plankton net. And this is used to do what we call a vertical plankton tow. And you get out in your boat or canoe, you want to find the deepest part of the lake. This has some weights at the bottom to keep it vertical in the water column. And you just lower this all the way to the bottom and slowly pull it back up. And so what this is doing is taking in this big volume of water, you're dragging it through, and you're getting a little snapshot of the tiny organisms that live in the water column. You pull it up, you shake it out, and then all the little critters are gonna be either at this collection cup or along the side. And then you can open up your little drain hole here. And then what we do is we just rinse it down with water from the lake. And so this is just drawing all the critters that are caught up on the walls down into the bottom until this is fully dry. And then you're basically just going through your sample to see if you caught anything. Spiny water fleas are going to be pretty visible. That's one of the things that makes this surveillance approach very achievable for volunteers, is you don't need specialized equipment, you don't need a microscope, you don't have to send your sample to a lab. If you do find spiny water fleas, take pictures with your smartphone and also save some samples in a jar in isopropyl alcohol and get those to your local DNR AIS specialist. They have been found in 23 lakes. There was one new detection found last summer, but other than that, we had no new discoveries in infestation since 2016. What we suspect, based on some other research projects, that shows that spiny water fleas have a really low detectability. Like, they can be kind of occurring in the background or evading traditional monitoring methods for a long time. So we think that they are probably in a lot more lakes. We have connected water bodies where a population hasn't been documented, but it's downstream from a confirmed infestation. So the DNR considers it infested. There are currently 67 listed infested water bodies in Minnesota. They live and reproduce in lakes. They can be in larger rivers. I believe that they are in the Rainy River. They don't really live and reside in a creek. There are a number of infested lakes in the Arrowhead region, and they're really in some of the most popular northern Minnesota fishing lakes. Some of those really high-profile lakes that are very popular for fishing, and that kind of makes it even scarier because we have a lot of people coming and going from those lakes to fish, and our research shows that spiny water fleas spread on fishing gear. Stopping the spread is actually pretty easy. It's just a matter of following that clean, drain, dry mantra. And with spiny water flea, dry is the really key element because they do desiccate and die quickly. And so we tell people, you want to leave your fishing gear out and out in the sun for at least a day before you're moving, and then wiping down your monofilament, the fishing pole eyelets, is really important, because as you're dragging your line through the water, either reeling it in, or particularly if you're using a downrigger, spiny water fleas they'll catch their tail spine on the fishing line and then more and more sort of catch on each other. What that will look like is you'll just see sort of this weird gelatinous glob. It might look like any other sort of lake goop that you get on your fishing line, but if you look closely, it could be spiny water flea, and you should be brushing that off or wiping it off with a towel. Then the other thing is really making sure all your residual water is cleaned out with hot water or fully dried. So things like bait buckets, bilges, live wells, those are high-risk areas because spiny water fleas could survive in a very small amount of residual water. If you go to a lake and if you know that spiny water fleas are there, hopefully we can improve the signage, we can inform the boat inspectors and remind people that cleaning their fishing gear is really important at this site. We have chemicals that can kill zooplankton. The problem is we don't have any chemicals that are spiny water flea specific. So a chemical treatment using the available formulations would kill all the zooplankton, which is sort of a non-starter. In really dense situations, you could have up to 100 spiny water fleas in a cubic meter of water. And methods that would hypothetically be developed that could capture them, the problem is making that species specific. You would risk, filtering out or sucking up so many native phytoplankton and zooplankton that you could do potentially a lot more harm than good. It's a big challenge. I could see potential genetic methods sometime long into the future being an option, but we haven't even done any genome work on spiny water fleas, so it's a ways out. I think we should have some hope that research advances might give us some solutions to control them. Just because we don't have anything in our back pocket right now, doesn't mean that limiting the spread right now isn't super important. I mean, that's always priority number one, is to prevent future spread.
Stories about research into invasive aquatic algae, plants, and animals are sponsored in part by the Aquatic Invasive Species Task Forces of Wright, Meeker, Yellow Medicine, Lac-Qui-Parle, Swift, and Big Stone counties. We can stop aquatic hitchhikers from infesting more lakes and streams by cleaning up everything we pull out of the water. It's a simple drill. Clean in, clean out. Before leaving a water access, clean your boat and water equipment. Remove and dispose of all plants and aquatic species in the trash. Drain water from your boat, ballast tanks, motor, live well, and bait container. Remove drain plugs and keep drain plugs out while transporting equipment. Dispose of unwanted bait in the trash. To keep live bait, drain the water and refill the bait container with bottled or tap water. And if you have been in infested waters, also spray your boat with high-pressure water. Rinse with very hot water, dry for at least 5 days. Stop the spread of AIS. Funding for Prairie Sportsmen is provided by the Minnesota Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund, as recommended by the Legislative Citizen Commission on Minnesota Resources. Mark and Margaret Yackel-Julien on behalf of Shalom Hill Farm, a retreat and conference center in a prairie setting near Windham, Minnesota, on the web at shalomhillfarm.org. And by West Central Initiative and Western Minnesota Prairie Waters, and the members of Pioneer PBS.